What up, AOK Mafia? It's your boy Artofkickz. It just like that. We back with another one. Alright, y'all. This is going to be a warm-up video for tonight's live stream. I came across something here that looks quite disturbing just based off the title. It's titled "The TikToker Who Murdered Her Sister While She Slept." While she slept. I'm sorry. While she was asleep is what I wanted to say. Murdered her sister while she slept. A TikToker. Was she like somebody that was known or well known or famous on TikTok, or she was just another average kid that posts stuff to TikTok that may got 4,000 or 5,000 followers? There's a difference. There's a difference. Can't be out here calling everybody a TikToker because they posted a couple videos, got a few thousand followers. Or can you? That doesn't matter. Let's hear this.
This 14-year-old girl is accused of stabbing her sister to death in their Lancaster County home.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Hope you guys are doing okay, because we're going to be diving into something very dark today. So recently, there was this 14-year-old girl named Claire Miller who was accused of murdering her own sister. And I'm only saying accused because, you know, legally, I don't want to get in trouble, and she hasn't officially been convicted by a judge at the time of this recording, but it's pretty much been confirmed that she actually did the crime. And the victim in this situation was her sister, Helen Miller, her older sister, who was suffering from a disease known as cerebral palsy. And cerebral palsy, for those of you who don't know, is basically a disease that strips you of the ability to move normally and causes incredibly abnormal muscle function. And I'm pretty...
Okay. With the bit of information that we just heard, it makes me want to try to come up with an idea as to why she did what she did. This is a channel where we have these conversations to further the dialogue of what it is that we consume on a daily basis. Now, my assumption, and I could be completely wrong, is that maybe she felt that she was doing one or two things: ending her sister's pain, or the second one, which is a lot more selfish, freeing herself of her sister's burden, or what she deemed was a burden, which was the disease. And I say that because maybe this girl has to step up. Maybe her parents needed her to step up and to help with taking care of her older sister. So it's a possibility that she felt maybe that she wasn't ever going to have a life of her own, with her sister still being in the picture. I could be wrong though. Let's hear this.
I'm sure many of you have seen people like this before. You'll often see these people with this disease using wheelchairs or crutches to move around, and there will be ramps and special vehicles made specifically for them to be able to, you know, live normally. Although with that disease, you can't live normally. But that was daily life for her 19-year-old sister, until her life was cut short by her little sister, Claire. However, according to official reports, police were called to the family's ranch home at 1:08 a.m. Monday, and they arrived 5 minutes later, so that would be around 1:13 for those of you who can't do math. They were greeted outside by Claire Miller wearing bloody pants and with blood on her hands, repeatedly saying, I stabbed my sister, according to court records. The records said officers went inside and found Helen Miller, 19, on her back in a bedroom with a bloody pillow over her face. And when an officer removed the pillow, a large knife was sticking out of her neck and blood was pooled on her chest and bed. She died from multiple stab wounds, the coroner said. Yeah, that is brutal. You know, this definitely sounds like a scene straight out of a horror movie, yeah. But instead of it happening on the big screen, it's happening out here in the real world.
That's sad. That is sad. Poor girl, defenseless, didn't deserve that.
You know, one thing I do want to mention before moving on any further into the video is that if you guys ever want to send me video topics, you can do so by sending them to my Twitter or Instagram by using the links down below in the description. I know some of you guys are all...
Shout out to Destiny. He's the GOAT. I'm going to have this video always, all videos linked down in the description box below.
Let's jump right back into this video. So the girl in question, Claire Miller, who went by the name Spirits and Such Consulting before being banned on TikTok,
Oh, she had a following on TikTok with over 1 million likes and 21,000 followers. Okay.
Had around 21,000 followers. Her typical content usually consisted of videos of her lip syncing to certain songs and dancing in the most cringe and borderline creepy way possible, which is basically the staple of most TikTok users anyway, so she fits right in. But ever since the news broke about her apparent role in the death of her sister, her page has been taken down by TikTok, which is kind of surprising since TikTok sometimes takes a while to take down people's pages. Yeah. But you know, shout out to the CCP for actually doing something good this time. What's not surprising though is the fact that between the time of her posting her final video and the moment that her page was taken down, she gained over 32,000 followers. And obviously that sudden spike in followers is due to the fact that people are attracted to danger. You know, it's pretty much been proven that people won't notice you until you've become a famous hero or an infamous villain.
Yeah, it's very, very fascinating. I was watching a TV show documentary style thing on Netflix yesterday. I can't remember what it was called, but the episode I was watching was on Jeffrey Dahmer. Y'all know who I'm talking about, the serial killer. And it was like so many people's fascinations with him, specifically women. Yeah, it's crazy. You know, people kind of have this fascination with danger. It's like they themselves won't do these heinous crimes, but they want to know about them and hear about them.
There's usually no in-between for the masses, which is why most news is filled with negative shit 24/7. I mean, that's just what people like. But like in my previous video about the girl who set her boyfriend up, copycat accounts have popped up to catch some of the follows as well. One of them went as far as even setting up their own account, pretending to be her, and posting all her deleted videos to that page. I mean, why would you...
How would you do that? They must have saved all her videos in order to do that.
Even want to put the effort in to get followers from people who think that you're a murderer.
Exactly.
It's not clicking with me. But I guess some people love the attention and clout no matter the form it takes.
Yep.
For a little background though, Claire Miller, she went to a private school near her home in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. And it's called Lancaster Country Day School, which currently has about 550 students with an annual tuition cost of $22,000. So obviously...
Dang, she didn't look like she came from money. This girl did not look like she came from money, but she came from money. Whoa. She went to a high school that has a freaking tuition of like a college. Goodness gracious. If you're paying $22,000 a year, that's like $86,000 once you graduate. My math might be completely wrong, but still, that's like college.
Her parents are doing pretty damn good financially, as 4 years in that school at a rate of $22,000 per year could easily reach upwards of over $100 and something thousand by the time a kid graduates from that school. However, according to an unnamed friend who was talking to her before the murder, they said that she had suicidal and homicidal thoughts. So maybe the signs were there and her...
Yeah, it would have been 88,000 plus whatever other thousands needed. Anyway, this girl has some money. Her family had money.
Suicidal and homicidal thoughts. So maybe the signs were there and her parents just didn't care. Maybe this friend should have spoke up earlier. Like, if you got a friend out here who's being weird, you know, doing all kinds of weird shit on TikTok and drawing witchcraft on their walls, maybe you should say something to their parents or the authorities.
Yeah, it's kind of tricky too, though, because this type of stuff also can be looked at or viewed as maybe an interest. You know, it might not necessarily be something that they themselves would do, you know, as far as the danger aspect, as far as the actual physical harm of someone else or themselves. It just could be like a goth, like someone who's gothic that just might be interested in this stuff.
I don't know. But anyways, obviously everybody in the town and in the state found out about what happened, and the school district put out a statement saying, "In this moment, we extend our deep sympathy to the family on all fronts. We will do our best to turn this into support for this community because this is significant loss that affects our entire community. We were so saddened to learn of Helen's tragic and unexpected passing. Our hearts go out to the family and friends of the Miller family. This is a devastating tragedy. While I cannot give you specific information related to her, what I can tell you is that Helen was enrolled in our district as of today because she was still receiving educational services from our district."
What was that show, The Following? my former roommate put me onto the following. I became obsessed with that show. Probably one of the greatest cult shows I've ever seen, if not the greatest I've ever seen in my life. It had Kevin Bacon in it. Phenomenal show. I'm like, why did it only go 4 seasons? They need to keep this story going. But it's I can almost understand people's fascination with people who have ended people's lives. I don't want to say the keywords, the trigger words for YouTube algorithm, but I can almost see the fascination, because it's like, what does it take in your mind to get you to the point to where you want to physically harm someone? Us looking at our lives on a daily basis or going out into public, could you think about what it would be like to either see, witness, or yourself do a heinous act of violence upon someone? Could you imagine that? It's hard to imagine it when you're actually out and about in public. Imagine seeing it, imagine doing it. But when you watch it on TV or read it in a book or hear about it on the news or podcast, it kind of like numbs you to it. You know what I mean? It's like it happens so often that it's like, it's not that big of a deal. Let me go about the rest of my day doing what I need to do.
I mean, I can only imagine how shocked all their teachers and classmates must have felt when they heard about the news.
Yes.
A student that they all went to school with, saw 5 days a week, ended up killing her disabled sister in one of the most gruesome ways possible. Like, it never really feels like it could happen to you or someone you know in a town that you've grown up your whole life, until it actually does.
Right.
And as far as I can tell, based on the quick Google search I did, her motive for killing her sister is still unknown. And if it is, the police definitely have not disclosed it to the public yet.
That's what I wanted to know. Gosh, I thought we were going to get that answer. I really want to know what her motive was. Man.
But there are some interesting theories that I came across while on
All right, let's hear these theories. I want to see if any of them align with the 2 that I gave.
my search for why Claire did what she did to her sister.
That's
and
great.
these theories were sparked by a comment posted in the comment section of a video made by a person named Tuv here on YouTube. And the comment said, "I literally can't understand why she would kill her sister. How can you have beef with someone who is wheelchair bound and non-verbal? I mean, she had a couple of TikToks about her dad and she seemed to really love him. Maybe she was jealous that her dad gave her sister attention or something.
Okay.
This is just a real tragedy. Rest in peace, Helen." And then I've received a couple of responses by some other users saying, apparently she had suicidal and homicidal thoughts, which we know. Another person said, "It's common for siblings with disabled siblings to feel resentment towards the disabled sibling," which I wasn't really aware of, but now that I'm thinking about it, it makes a lot of sense.
That's somewhat what I said. That is somewhat what I said.
And could be a possible motive. And then another comment that I saw, which I found the most interesting, was from a user named Miss Lulu, saying, "I have 2 theories. I don't know. They might be wrong,
Just like I said, I had 2 theories, but I could be wrong.
but whatever. 1, since her older sister is disabled and in a wheelchair, she needs extra care and gets more attention, so maybe she got jealous of her sister and hated her because of it. 2, since the sister is disabled, her parents are obligated to buy medical needs and pay hospital bills, so maybe she thought it was a good idea to kill her, to let her parents rest if they're not able to afford it."
Interesting. 2 theories that were completely different than mine. I didn't take in the account that or the possibility that the girl could be jealous of the attention that her older sister is receiving. And if that was the case, then that you could kind of sort of put that blame on the parents, not for not giving the girl enough attention, but for not preparing the girl. Because the older sister came first, they should know if they're going to have another child and this child is capable and able, that they would have to prepare that child for the understanding of the type of care that the older sibling needs. Yeah, so...
Which is, of course, extremely wrong to think about. I mean, yeah, I guess. Who knows? Maybe.
And yeah, that's that other theory that she had about the parents having to take care of the girl's medical bills, and she wanted to relieve the parents of that, of that expense. That's Yeah, I feel like that she would have to be somewhat sick in the head to want to do it for that reason. You know, that's it's like an unselfish reason that she's trying to give. If that theory is correct, like an unselfish reason. You know, looking after her parents and her parents' stress about the medical bills, but at the same time, like I said, if that's another one that the parents didn't prepare the younger daughter well enough. If that was the case, but at the same time, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense because from the jump, they were able to put this girl in the type of school that she's going to, $22,000 a year type of school. Meaning they already had the money to take care of the older child and her medical expenses off the rip, regardless. You know, if money was ever an issue, that girl wouldn't have been going to the school that she was going to. So that theory doesn't really align or make much sense to this this case here. But I kind of want to stick to my two initial theories. The main one being that this girl, I want to show what she looks like too while I'm talking about her. The main one being that this girl had to do a lot of the helping with her older sister, you know, and that could have felt like a burden. Like, oh my God, I got to do so much for her. My parents kind of give me more responsibility than they themselves have. And that's sometimes that happens. I've seen it happen with able-bodied siblings where the parents will have the youngest child take care of look after the youngest. It's almost as if that child is the parent. If the older sibling is the parent to the younger, but in this case, the younger being somewhat maybe a potential parent to the older, because maybe the parents work a lot. Or maybe they're stressed out all the time. Maybe their marriage isn't going so hot, so they kind of put some of the responsibilities on the younger child to take care and fend for this older one. But yeah.
So maybe the signs were there, and
that's my theory. But you know, I could be wrong.
I mean, yeah, I guess. Who knows? Maybe one of these motives are right, and the police have already figured it out on their end, but don't want to disclose what they know to the public yet. However, as of right now, I'm thinking her motive is multifaceted, and is most likely a combination of everything these commenters have theorized so far. You know, being suicidal, having some resentment toward her disabled sister for taking up most of the attention from her parents, and in some weird, twisted way, maybe Claire probably felt as though that she was taking a burden off of her parents' shoulders by taking the life of her sister away from them, you know, to, I guess, lessen the financial load. I know it sounds pretty crazy to think about, but you guys need to keep in mind that the human mind is very powerful. There's a reason for why we are the apex predator on this planet. And because of how powerful our minds are, anyone given the right circumstances and the right set of chemical imbalances can justify anything in their heads as being the right thing to do.
Yeah.
This is what makes our species so incredibly interesting, artistic, and innovative.
Exactly.
But it's also what makes us incredibly naive, chaotic, and dangerous.
Exactly.
But, you know, I'm gonna leave it at that since I'm not trying to get all philosophical on you guys for this video. However, according to official reports, during the time of the stabbing, everyone was asleep since it was well past midnight. Everyone but Claire, who was plotting to commit an unforgivable act. And info stated on an article from Heavy.com says that, according to the probable cause affidavit, a female called 911 just after 1 a.m. and the dispatcher said she sounded hysterical on the phone. Officers responded to the family home on Clayton Road in Manheim Township about 5 minutes later. They encountered Miller standing outside the house. Officer Cody Lewis reported in the affidavit that Miller told them repeatedly that she had stabbed her own sister. Lewis said he spotted blood in the snow near the driveway and on Miller's pants. The affidavit says it appeared Miller had been trying to wash her hands in the snow. Whoa, that's crazy. But in the same article, though, they go on to say that Miller directed them to Helen Marie Miller's bedroom, which is her sister. According to the affidavit, a blood-stained pillow had been placed over Helen's face. One of the officers removed the pillow and saw a knife sticking out of Helen's neck. just above her chest. Helen's hands were up near her head, and officers noticed a large amount of blood on Helen's chest and on the bed. Emergency medical responders attempted to resuscitate Helen, but were not successful. The Lancaster County Deputy Coroner pronounced Helen dead at 4:13 a.m., according to the affidavit. Police say the girl's parents were asleep during the stabbing. Wow. I mean, I can't imagine how her parents must have felt after waking up to this disaster. I'm pretty sure they didn't even see this coming at all,
No.
But I definitely do sympathize with them and send my condolences to the family, because this sounds like a complete nightmare. A nightmare that I never want to be in.
Exactly. Could you imagine being the parents of these two girls? You have these insane conflicting emotions running through you in this moment, finding out what your youngest daughter did, and you have grief and anger happening at the same time, and both of them are for your kids. You have the grief of the one who's just died, and then you have the anger for the one that committed the crime. And then at the same time, it's like, because I'm trying to picture myself being the parents of these two girls. Would I want my youngest daughter to spend time in jail, or would I try to bring her home, or want her to be home and try to talk to her, understand what it is that she's doing, and just keep a close eye on her with little to no, I don't know. I don't know what I would do. Would you want your child to spend time in jail? And if so, how long? Or would you want it to be up to the system? And you know how the system could be. The system may give her the ultimate sentence. And now you don't have either one of your children.
However, I do feel like Claire's been wanting to kill her sister for a while now, because as far as I know, random killings rarely ever happen when it's someone you know, like friends or family. Usually these things are premeditated and are planned out for months on end. Also, a very important detail in this case you guys should know is that Claire Miller will be tried as an adult for this crime. Even though she's only 14 years old, she will be tried as an adult, since in the state of Pennsylvania, homicide is not considered a delinquent act. Meaning, in that state, they think that if you're able to kill, then you're able to be tried as an adult.
I agree with. I feel like I agree with that 100%. 100%. Definitely.
And she'll most likely be going to an adult prison. And actually, at the time of finalizing my script for this video, I just found out that she was actually transferred to an adult female prison about a week ago. She was staying at the Lancaster County Prison, where she was actually the first female ever minor to be admitted there before being transferred to the state prison in her home state of Pennsylvania. So she's out here breaking records.
And that type of stuff right there will have more and more people fascinated about her story. She's first ever child to go to this adult woman's prison, as well as they don't understand the motive, or we don't know what the motive is behind her act. Oh my goodness. I'm telling you, people are going to be following her story for a while.
Just not the ones you want to be breaking. Also, upon doing some further research about murder offenses in Pennsylvania, the details I found were a bit scary. Because according to an article I found from this website called coovandaccoc.com, pretty weird name, I can't pronounce it, sorry. They say, under Pennsylvania law, criminal homicide is considered first-degree murder if you intentionally kill someone. You can intentionally kill someone by poisoning them or by lying in wait. Lying in wait is considered evidence that the killing was done maliciously. If the killing is premeditated, and, Claire's was, you did so willfully and deliberately. The killing is also considered intentional. In other words, if you thought out a plan to kill someone, you can be charged with first-degree murder.
That makes perfect sense as well. That makes perfect sense.
Murder is possibly the most serious crime you can commit in Pennsylvania, as a conviction, and can result in death or mandatory life sentence without possibility of parole. So basically, in other words, let me translate this for you guys. 14-year-old Claire Miller is never getting out of jail. She's either gonna die in jail or she's going to get the death penalty. So that's wow, that's crazy.
Really though, could you imagine? This girl did what she did, not aware whatsoever of the consequences for her act. Couldn't have been. Couldn't have been. Because if she was aware, do you think she would be like, oh snap, yeah, I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to end up in prison for the rest of my life? Or sentenced to...
And honestly, I can't really say if she should be put to death over this or not. You know, my opinions on the death penalty are a bit all over the place, and I don't believe it's my place to speak on it at the moment. However, I will say I hope her parents can eventually find peace after losing 2 of their daughters in one day. Their lives will never be the same. It's tragic. But as always, let me know your thoughts and opinions.
Yeah, seriously, think about that though. Think about that. The parents' lives will never be the same. Because to their friends, to their family, to anybody in public, not public eye, they're going to be in the public eye, to anybody in public that know of them and their story. People are going to look at them, view them with a whole lot of judgment. Wow. It went from having kids to not having kids. This is crazy. I got so much going on in my mind right now. But I'm going to end this right here. I'm going to catch you guys later.